Wonders of Nepal. From sacred temples to the roof of the world. The collision raising 8 of Earth's 14 highest peaks keeps Kathmandu under seismic pressure. The human test lies below, protecting forests while rebuilding temples and boring through mountains. Nepal cannot freeze its heritage in place. Monsoon rivers shift, mountain slopes crack, forests shrink. Growing towns demand faster roads and steadier power. Yet a shrine must remain a place of worship. A trail must still support villages, and a protected forest must work for people living beside it. I want to understand how Nepal changes without cutting the ties that hold its land and culture together. In this video, we trace that struggle from sacred valleys to high trails and the Terai, where survival depends on changing without surrendering what came before. One of the Kathmandu Valley's oldest sacred complexes has no boundary its resident monkeys will respect. Rhesus macaques cross roofs, walls, courtyards, wooded slopes, and power lines while pilgrims circle the white stupa clockwise. Buddhist tradition begins Swayambhunath with an ancient lake and a self-arisen light. It is a sacred foundation story, not a geological account. The steep eastern stairway brings human effort into the ritual before the circuit even begins. Around the white dome, hands turn prayer wheels, holding written mantras. Painted eyes face the cardinal directions above the dome. 13 tiers rise on the gilded spire, representing stages toward enlightenment. Yet the complex does not enforce a clean religious border. Monasteries, chaityas, and prayer wheels stand beside shrines to Hindu deities. The macaques make that shared ground even less controlled. Natural food sustains them, but offerings and carried food pull them into direct contact with worship and tourism. Feeding can make them dependent or aggressive, so coexistence requires restraint, guarded belongings, and distance. Below, Kathmandu and Lalitpur keep expanding across the valley. Swayambhunath remains sacred without becoming sealed off. Pilgrims, urban pressure, and free-moving macaques all meet on the same hill. An animal built to survive Himalayan cold can be undone by a gap no wider than a road. Between roughly 2,200 and 4,800 meters, Nepal's red pandas depend on cool forest, dense bamboo, and unbroken cover. Bamboo provides most of their food, but little usable energy. Long feeding and resting hours make nearby trees essential for shelter and escape. A road, farm, grazing strip, or fuel wood cut can divide that refuge into isolated patches. Livestock weaken the understory, while roaming dogs and snares tighten the pressure. Poaching and illegal trade exploit an animal already living at low density. Losing it because a corridor vanished or a patrol failed would make development an unacceptable bargain. Community forest groups counter with monitoring, anti-poaching patrols, dog management, and protected links between bamboo patches. These modest defenses keep habitat connected across steep Himalayan ground. Across Nepal, the same bargain recurs. Access can help communities survive while fragmenting the forests, slopes, and traditions that survival depends on. Tansen's quiet bazaar still serves local trade, but its timber and brick are aging faster than tourism money arrives. Tansen sits on a Mahabharat ridge above routes toward the Kali-Gandaki Valley, its compact streets forced against the slope. Once capital of the Palpa Kingdom, it linked a Magar-speaking hill region to central Nepal. The ridge offered defense and trade, but every load had to climb. Newar merchants later filled the older settlement with carved wooden shop fronts, brick houses, workshops, temples, and a broad bazaar built for commerce, not spectacle. Tansen Durbar holds the town's administrative record. Rani Mahal stands separately downstream beside the Kali Gandaki, reached by a descending road. Fewer visitors than Kathmandu, Pokhara, or the main trekking corridors help local trade remain local. That quiet also limits funds for aging timber and brick. From Srinagar Hill, Dhaulagiri and the Annapurna Massif rise beyond layered ridges. The view draws the eye outward. The more fragile inheritance is underfoot, where an old Newar bazaar still works on a mountain spine. Shared Buddhist teaching takes architectural form here, in the distinct languages of an entire continent. Lumbini's master plan broadly places Theravada institutions in the east and Mahayana and Vajrayana institutions in the west, linked by canals and long walkways. This is not a display assembled under one roof. The distance matters. Each compound stands within its own ritual order, roofline, sculpture, and monastic discipline. The Myanmar Golden Temple draws on forms associated with Bagan, while the Royal Thai Monastery turns white walls and ornate detail into a distinctly Thai statement. Nearby, the Sri Lankan monastery carries Theravada practice, and the Cambodian monastery uses Khmer forms shaped by the layered Hindu and Buddhist history of Angkor. Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and Tibetan-style institutions differ in halls, images, language, and ceremony, recording how the same teaching entered distinct artistic and political worlds. The Maya Devi Temple, Ashoka Pillar, and Sacred Garden remain the historical center. Around them, many Asian forms prove that one doctrine can preserve difference without surrendering its origin. Hydropower-rich Nepal once spent long hours without electricity. scheduled cuts remained part of daily life until they largely ended by 2018 through new supply and tighter grid control. The core resource had not changed. Most domestic power still comes from hydropower, especially run-of-river plants that surge during the monsoon and weaken as rivers shrink in the dry season. What changed was control. More generation, imported electricity, stronger transmission, lower losses, and better decisions inside the grid. Nepal turned unstable supply into coordinated national power. The balance remains seasonal. Surplus electricity can cross the border during parts of the wet season. When dry season output falls, imports from India help close the gap. Coordination also runs on Nepal's own civil clock. Bikram Sambat dates appear on government forms, utility notices, contracts, schools, and newspapers, roughly 57 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. Flights, trade, and bookings must translate between Bikram Sambat and Gregorian dates. Nepal Standard Time adds a second distinction: UTC plus 5 hours 45 minutes, 15 minutes ahead of India. Ending chronic cuts proved the point. Hydropower changes a country when firm management directs supply through stronger lines. One of Nepal's oldest temples has endured by refusing to remain unchanged. Changu Narayan traces its sacred history to around the 4th century, while today's pagoda records repeated rebuilding. This is not a sealed archaeological site above the Manohara River Valley. It remains a working temple dedicated to Vishnu. Its courtyard holds some of Nepal's earliest written royal history. A 5th century Sanskrit pillar inscription commissioned by King Manadeva records that past in stone. Nearby images give that past physical form: a kneeling Garuda, Vishnu's cosmic stride, and forms linked to Narasimha and Vaikuntha Vishnu. The complex does not belong to one century. Brick courtyards, stone guardians, metal coverings, and carved wooden roof struts preserve generations of Newar workmanship. The earthquake in 2015 renewed the hardest question: how can damaged structures be reinforced without replacing the historic material conservators are meant to protect? Daily worship makes the answer harder. Priests, pilgrims, residents, artisans, and conservators share the space with offerings, festivals, foot traffic, and weather. Every repair must satisfy 2 tests at once: protect the temple's early fabric and return a crowded sacred space to worship. Bhutan's earthquake recovery began by treating fallen timber and stone as evidence, not debris. The 2015 Gorkha earthquake damaged or brought down several monuments here, including the Hari Shankar temple. Recovery began by sorting fallen timber and stone. At Lalitpur's center, Patan forms one of 3 historic royal squares in the Kathmandu Valley. Its former Mala Palace faces brick courtyards and temples built mainly in the 17th century. Newar artisans joined carved timber windows, hammered metalwork, stone sculpture, brick masonry, and tiered roofs into one demanding craft tradition. Maintenance passed through generations of specialist hands. Krishna Mandir breaks from the surrounding pagoda forms. Its multi-level stone construction and carved narrative panels demanded another set of skills, but remained part of the same working square. Restoration was not simple replacement. Carvers, metalworkers, masons, conservators, engineers, and religious custodians documented fragments, reused sound pieces, recreated missing parts, and strengthened structures without erasing their traditional form. The restored square still carries worship, trade, festivals, and daily crossings through its courtyards. Patan is preserved because it is used, repaired, and tested in public. Patan's recovery proves Newar craft is living heritage, not an antique. An earthquake damaged the crown of one of Nepal's largest stupas, yet worship returned before the following year had ended. The upper structure failed in the 2015 Gorkha earthquake. Damaged sections were dismantled, rebuilt, and Buddhanath was reconsecrated in 2016. This was not a cosmetic repair. Crews dismantled parts of the spire, replaced damaged elements, and coordinated specialist metalwork under the strict demands of sacred architecture. Devotees and institutions funded the work. Rituals then returned the rebuilt monument to religious use. Construction alone could not complete the job. Its form carries instruction: a vast white dome, a square tower painted with eyes, 13 ascending stages, then a gilded pinnacle. The whole structure is read as a Buddhist mandala. Buddhanath also stands beside an old approach linking the Kathmandu Valley with routes toward Tibet. The district later became central to Tibetan Buddhist refugee and diaspora communities. Monasteries, workshops, homes, schools, and businesses made pilgrimage part of an inhabited district. Pilgrims, monks, residents, and visitors move clockwise, turning prayer wheels and lighting butter lamps. Buddhanath stands because tradition did more than remember a damaged monument. It organized the craft, money, labor, and ritual required to raise its sacred crown again. Nepal's adventure capital is expanding around the lake it cannot afford to weaken. Metropolitan status came in 2017, followed by an international airport in 2023, though overseas service has grown more slowly than expected. The former regional trading center is now Nepal's main tourism and adventure hub. Hotels, apartments, roads, and recreation businesses have pushed well beyond lakeside. Access creates livelihoods, but it also drives traffic, construction, water demand, sewage, and solid waste. Expansion has become a physical load on the valley. Phiwa Lake carries the hardest part. Sediment enters from the watershed, while pollution and shoreline encroachment weaken the water and scenery supporting the tourism economy. Wooden boats still cross to Talbarahi Temple on its small island, binding transport to pilgrimage. Machapuchare and the Annapurna Massif remain the city's strongest claim on attention. Adventure spreads across the wider valley. Paragliders launch from hills such as Sarangkot. Balloon flights, rafting, zip lines, and bungee operations answer to weather and safety limits. If Fiwa absorbs the sewage, sediment and shoreline loss behind each expansion, Pokhara will be consuming the asset it is selling. The trail into Langtang now crosses a rebuilt village and a disaster site. In 2015, the Gorkha earthquake dislodged ice and rock above the settlement. The avalanche and air blast overwhelmed much of it. Recovery demanded more than walls and roofs. Families reopened trails, restored services, rebuilt lodges, and created memorial spaces so returning tourism would not erase the valley's loss. That labor supports a route running north of Kathmandu through Nepal's first Himalayan national park. Oak, pine, and rhododendron forest rise toward yak pasture, glacial streams, and Kanchenjunga Gompa. Scenery explains why trekkers return, but it hides the labor keeping the route open. Pack animals, lodge kitchens, repaired bridges, and maintained paths connect households to income and supplies. Tamang communities carry linguistic, religious, and trading ties shaped by the nearby Tibetan border. Tradition does not sit behind glass here. It works inside a modern trekking economy. The rebuilt village changes the meaning of the peaks. They dominate the view, but repaired homes and memorials determine what return now means. Langtang now holds memory and livelihood on the same narrow trail. Nepal's strongest adaptation here is not forgetting pressure, but rebuilding with its mark still visible. At one of Buddhism's great pilgrimage centers, the crucial evidence lies below the floor. Tradition and archaeological evidence identify Lumbini as Siddhartha Gautama's birthplace more than 2,500 years ago. An Ashoka pillar inscription from around 250 BCE gives that claim a dated historical witness. The Maya Devi temple protects a marker stone, ancient brick foundations, and successive phases of construction. Excavations beneath the surviving remains found traces of earlier structures and repeated ritual use. Archaeology does not confirm every detail of the traditional birth account. It does something more disciplined. It shows that this small place held meaning across many generations. The pillar gives that long memory a hard date. Erected under Emperor Ashoka, its inscription records his pilgrimage and identifies Lumbini as the Buddha's birthplace. Pilgrims therefore gather around more than a story. They pause beside foundations, meditate beneath trees, and visit Puskarini in a landscape still used for ritual. The evidence beneath Maya Devi temple gives Lumbini its rare authority. A living pilgrimage anchored by more than 2,500 years of material record. A sacred cow and a threatened vulture are linked by one veterinary drug. Diclofenac in livestock remains can trigger kidney failure in vultures, helping drive their catastrophic decline across South Asia. Nepal built an unlikely answer across the Terai: vulture restaurants. These feeding sites supply livestock remains from animals known to be free of the drug. The work is exacting. Teams secure safe remains, monitor nests, restrict harmful medicine, and explain why disposal choices matter. Vultures can then clear animal remains rapidly from a hot, heavily farmed landscape. Conservation becomes public health and farm management at once. As Nepal's national animal, the cow carries legal protection. Causing the loss of a cow or ox can bring up to 3 years in prison. Yet aging cattle still burden households and shelters. Reverence does not remove the cost. It shapes how communities carry it. Monsoon timing sets the rice calendar. Farmers raise nurseries, transplant seedlings, manage water and weeds, then concentrate labor again at harvest. The same landscape therefore carries 3 obligations at once: feed households, honor cattle, and keep poisoned remains from the vultures above. Thousands of rooms cut into Mustang's cliffs survive where rain barely reaches and soft rock keeps crumbling. Across more than 2,000 years, separate generations reused these chambers as dwellings, stores, refuges, meditation retreats, and ritual spaces. Upper Mustang lies north of the Annapurna and Dhaulagiri ranges, in a rain shadow left after monsoon clouds cross the peaks. Wind and runoff cut the exposed sediment into ravines and unstable walls. The Kali Gandaki corridor carried salt, wool and grain between the Tibetan Plateau and lower Nepal. That trade supported fortified settlements and the walled center of Langtang. Trade and Tibetan Buddhist belief also shaped chortens, mani walls, monasteries and painted interiors, placing worship along the old routes. The engineering nerve behind the caves is startling. Cutting rooms high into brittle cliffs demanded tools, planning, and repeated labor where water and timber were scarce. Roads now shorten journeys that sustained older trail economies. Access eases isolation, but traffic, vibration, waste, and unmanaged visits can strain earthen settlements, sacred sites, and fragile chambers. Mustang's caves prove that people held this severe ground for thousands of years, repeatedly adapting shelter, trade, and faith to the limits of the valley. The highway that emptied Bandipur's market also protected its old face. When the Prithvi Highway shifted trade to the valley below in the 1970s, commerce abandoned a ridge town built for foot and pack animal routes. At roughly 1,000 meters, the slate-paved bazaar follows a narrow crest. Brick shop houses stand shoulder to shoulder with carved windows and covered verandas. Newar merchants made this ridge a hinge between the plains and Himalayan interior. Prosperity climbed the old paths with goods. The new road broke that logic. Families and businesses moved, but lighter traffic spared many historic facades from demolition and intensive concrete rebuilding. Restoration put old merchant houses back to work as homes, guest houses, cafes, and shops. Through traffic remains below, so the bazaar still belongs to pedestrians. Paths lead toward Thanimai Temple, Siddha Cave, farms, and Annapurna viewpoints. That network keeps the ridge connected without letting vehicles command its center. Tourism pays for preservation, but excessive conversion could empty the homes that give the bazaar meaning. Bandipur was saved by being bypassed. Its future depends on keeping that absence productive. A landscape once organized for elite hunts now holds Nepal's strongest proof that strict conservation can rebuild a wild population. A nationwide count in 2021 recorded more than 750 greater one-horned rhinos, with nearly 700 inside Chitwan. That recovery took shape in the warm Terai, where river forest, wetlands, and tall grasslands meet farms stretching toward India. The rhino depends on this entire patchwork, not one fenced refuge. Patrols, legal protection, habitat management, monitoring, and community buffer zones turned policy into daily fieldwork. The result is visible because enforcement and local participation held for years. Yet recovery is not permanent. Poaching remains a threat. Invasive plants crowd grasslands, floods reshape habitat, and farms press against park boundaries. Nepal was never a British colony, yet Rana rulers hosted British officials and other dignitaries for elaborate Terai hunts. Tourism now draws income from living wildlife on ground, once reserved for elite hunting. The rhino count can fall again. Its recovery lasts only as long as patrols, grassland work, and neighboring communities can outlast returning pressure. An old royal center survives by functioning as an ordinary neighborhood. Across the Kathmandu Valley, 3 royal centers have absorbed repeated earthquake damage, repair, and rebuilding. Kathmandu Durbar Square packs palaces, temples, homes, and shops onto the same ground. Malla and Shah rulers shaped it. Residents still carry it through each day. At Hanumandoka, vermilion paste has accumulated on the stone image beneath its cloth shelter. Repeated worship has physically changed the monument. The 3-roofed Taleju temple was completed in the 16th century, yet normally opens publicly only during Dashain. Royal architecture still answers to a living festival calendar. Nearby, Kalabhairava carries an old association with public oaths and justice. Newar carving survives across windows, doors, courtyards, and roof struts. Earthquakes have broken this fabric repeatedly. Craftspeople repair it, not to freeze one perfect age, but to return buildings and shrines to use. Daily occupation is decisive. Traders open shops, worshippers leave offerings, and residents cross former royal ground on ordinary business. The square keeps its value because preservation does not remove life. It lets life hold the old center together. The hardest achievement in Khumbu is not reaching a summit, it is keeping villages functioning beneath it. At roughly 4,400 meters, Dingboche raises potatoes, buckwheat and barley behind stone walls, despite thin air and a short growing season. No road links the main trekking corridor. Supplies enter through Lukla, then climb by porter, yak, or pack animal, adding altitude to the cost of food and building supplies. Namche Bazaar fills a natural amphitheatre at about 3,400 meters. Its markets, lodges, shops and services make it an economic centre, not just an acclimatization stop. Above Namche, Tenzing Norgay's statue faces Everest near the Sagarmatha National Park Museum. He and Edmund Hillary completed the first confirmed ascent in 1953. Yet expedition history is only one layer. Agriculture, transport labor, hospitality, religion, and seasonal tourism keep households tied to this high ground. At 3,900 meters, Tengboche Monastery holds its ridge beneath Amadablam, Everest, and Lhotse. Faith gives continuity as visitors and trade reshape the region. Every ascent depends on a less visible system: villagers coordinating trails, fields, lodges, transport, and sacred ground under severe limits. Farmland here is not found, it is built, one terrace wall at a time. Between the high Himalaya and the warm Terai, Gandruk occupies steep middle hills where stone houses and slate roofs cluster above narrow terraces. Terrace walls slow runoff, hold soil, and create cultivable beds. Monsoon rain tests them, so the landscape survives through repeated repair, not passive tradition. Water and elevation decide the crop. Rice favors warmer, wetter fields. Maize, millet, wheat, and potatoes become more important as conditions change uphill. Steel cable suspension bridges cross ravines that once demanded long descents. They shorten journeys to schools, clinics, markets, and neighboring settlements. Where roads fail, mules carry food, fuel, gas cylinders, roofing sheets, and construction materials. Their labor keeps households and building work supplied. Roads reduce isolation and transport costs, but cuts can destabilize slopes and pull trade from older footpaths. Access removes one pressure and creates another. Gandruk is not a village preserved against change. Its terraces, bridges, pack routes, and new roads show how people can live with steep terrain only by adapting without pause. Rara's empty-looking shore is not evidence that no one paid for its protection. At nearly 3,000 meters in Karnali province, Rara covers almost 11 square kilometers and stretches roughly 5 kilometers end to end. Wind, cloud, and sunlight can turn the broad surface from deep blue to green or steel gray. Pine, fir, juniper, and rhododendron cover the surrounding slopes. The lake drains toward the Mugu-Karnali River network. Its endemic fish make isolation a biological fact, not merely a travel obstacle. Rara National Park was established in the 1970s and protects about 100 square kilometers. The lake later became a wetland of international importance. Protection carried a social cost. Communities were relocated after the park's creation, showing that an apparently empty landscape can carry human costs. Reaching Rara still requires a long road journey, a flight and hike, or a trek of several days. Distance limits mass tourism, but also complicates supplies, waste control, medical response, and local participation in tourism. Wider recognition cannot repeat that exclusion. Tourism must protect the lake while giving nearby communities a larger stake in what its isolation is worth. The tallest frontier on Earth is still being forced upward, even as ice, rivers, and monsoon rain cut it back. That collision began about 50 million years ago. Today, 8 of the world's 14 peaks above 8,000 meters stand in or along Nepal's borders. India continues to press north, shortening and thickening the crust, while faults carry strain beneath Nepal. The force that raises the range also drives severe earthquakes. Mountain growth is only half the struggle. Glaciers grind rock, landslides strip slopes, and rivers haul the broken material toward the plains. The wall also reorganizes climate. Moist monsoon air climbs the southern slopes and releases heavy rain, while northern valleys sit in a drier rain shadow. Across this narrow front, a few hundred horizontal kilometers separate Terai grasslands from permanent ice, forcing roads, farms, and settlements into radically different conditions. Snow, glaciers, rain, and groundwater feed the Koshi, Gandaki, and Karnali rivers. Their water and sediment enter the Ganges basin, shaping farms, floodplains, roads, and settlements far beyond Nepal. Nepal's mountain front is not finished. It rises, feeds the plains, and makes every human structure look temporary beside the force of the earth. One temple in one city keeps a cross-border pilgrimage moving between two countries. Completed in the early 20th century, the three-story Janaki Mandir gathers pilgrims from Nepal and India around Sita, known here as Janaki. In Mithila tradition, Janaki is revered as a daughter of the ancient region. That identity links Janakpur to communities on both sides of the modern border. Queen Vrishabhanu of Tikamgarh backed the temple's construction. White facades, domes, arches, balconies, and colored details combine regional Mughal and Rajput influences across 3 levels. Its gateways and arcaded courtyards do more than impress. They channel visitors away from the street, while side rooms and smaller shrines spread worship, preparation, and movement around the main sanctuary. That layout takes on full force during Vivaha Panchami, several days of observances recalling the marriage of Sita and Rama. Processions represent both families, with music, ritual exchanges, and symbolic wedding rites. Groups linked to Janaki Mandir and Ram Mandir converge near the Janaki Bibaha Mandap. For several days, streets and courtyards become ritual infrastructure, concentrating crowds the living city must move and protect. The border divides 2 states, but not Janaki's ritual geography. One of mountaineering's strongest achievements was defined by the final steps its climbers chose not to take. In 1955, Joe Brown and George Band made Kanchenjunga's first successful ascent, then stopped just below the highest point to honor a promise to Sikkim's former ruler. Rising about 8,600 meters on Nepal's border with Sikkim, Kanchenjunga ranks third in the world. Its northern trail approaches Pangpema. The southern route reaches near Langtang. Both routes cross subtropical valleys, rhododendron and conifer forest, high pasture, moraine, and exposed rivers. With few road links, porters and pack animals still haul supplies over long distances. Limbu communities occupy lower and middle elevations. Sherpa and Tibetan-influenced settlements stand higher. The trail is not merely access to a peak, but a supply line through protected land. That restraint still matters. Later climbers have often kept the convention, letting local belief set a boundary even near the summit. Kanchenjunga's defining record is not the last step upward, but the decision that sacred ground can outrank a claim of mastery. A sacred flame burns beside flowing water, high in air that makes every breath harder. The shrine stands nearly 4,000 meters above sea level in Mustang, and natural gas sustains the flame at Jwala Mai Temple. Here, geology does not merely surround worship. It supplies the flame, water, rock, and high-altitude wind that give each ritual its physical force. Hindus revere Vishnu and seek liberation. Buddhists connect the site with Avalokiteshvara, Dakinis, and Guru Rinpoche. Both traditions claim meaning from the same severe ground. Pilgrims pass beneath 108 stone spouts, then enter 2 sacred ponds. In cold mountain air, purification becomes a hard physical act, not an easy gesture. The route adds another pressure. Muktinath lies west of Thorong La, a pass above 5,000 meters, where pilgrims, trekkers, residents, and traders share the same narrow mountain approach. Roads rising from the Kali Gandaki corridor now bring more people within reach. That access supports movement and livelihoods, but it also pushes a fragile high-altitude sanctuary to absorb heavier use. The gas-fed flame and freezing spouts endure only while access, ritual, and the sanctuary's physical limits are kept in balance. A road barely 71 kilometers long must fight Nepal's hills for almost every kilometer. Roughly 1/3 of the Kathmandu Terai/Madesh fast track is designed as tunnels and bridges, not ordinary pavement. The route would link Kathmandu directly with Nijgad and Terai networks, feeding border and trade corridors. It would divert freight and passengers from winding river valleys, unstable hills, and congested approaches to the capital. But the shortcut demands construction on a brutal scale: tunnel excavation, deep cuttings, high bridge foundations, drainage, spoil disposal, and slopes stabilized against failure. Monsoon rain then drives water into exposed ground and raises landslide pressure. The Nepal Army manages the project, yet procurement complications, design revisions, Contractor performance, land acquisition, and difficult ground have repeatedly pushed completion back. Delay is not the only cost. Near the northern approach, historic Pokhara has become a fault line over farmland, compensation, settlement patterns, and cultural heritage. The dispute exposes Nepal's larger bargain. Faster trade can support communities, while new cuts can disturb the land and traditions that sustain them. The engineering question is no longer only whether Nepal can cut the journey to an hour, but who and what will absorb the shortcut. A hatchling can be protected behind a fence, yet its future may still be blocked far downstream. At Kasara, eggs and young gharials are guarded, then juveniles are raised until release gives them a stronger chance in Nepal's rivers. Their long, narrow snouts and interlocking teeth are built mainly for fish. Adult males develop the bulbous nasal growth that gave the species its name. Captive breeding can raise release numbers. It cannot repair the river receiving them. Dams block movement. Altered flows reshape nesting sandbanks, nets trap animals, and pollution weakens habitat, so released gharials may vanish from monitored stretches without establishing breeding populations. Protection also shifts pressure onto neighboring farms. Rhinos and elephants raid crops and damage homes, while families carry the cost of dangerous encounters. Tourism brings income, but elephant-backed safaris raise questions about training and working conditions. Jeep and walking alternatives reduce that demand while adding disturbance and safety demands of their own. The work at Kasara deserves respect, but its real test lies beyond the pens, a living river, and conservation that does not leave nearby communities carrying the heaviest load. On the Annapurna circuit, every day of ascent changes what people can grow, carry, and build. Roads and side trips change the total from roughly 160 to 230 kilometers. Thorong La rises above 5,400 meters. It rises from humid valleys and rice terraces through rhododendron forest, conifer woodland, alpine pasture, and the dry rain shadow north of the range. At Thorong La, pressure is roughly half that at sea level. Poor acclimatization, snow, wind, or an early storm can halt movement. The circuit crosses a high pass rather than climbing Annapurna one. Its danger comes from altitude, weather, and distance. Culture changes with altitude. Hindu traditions are more visible below. Farther north, Tibetan Buddhist monasteries, Chortens and Mani walls mark the rain shadow. Roads shorten stages and carry goods deeper into the valleys, but also pull trade from older settlements. Alternative footpaths preserve parts of the original trail. A side route reaches Tiliko Lake at about 4,900 meters, extending the test of altitude into another high basin. Across one route, rice terraces yield to Mani walls, pack trails meet roads, and humid valleys narrow toward the thin air of Thorong La. Kathmandu raised a polished new tower beside the broken base of its predecessor, refusing to let reconstruction erase what happened. The 22-story Dharahara opened in 2024, beside remains of the 19th century tower that collapsed in the nearly magnitude 8 Gorkha earthquake of 2015. This was not the first rebuilding. Earthquake damage in 1934 had already forced Kathmandu to raise the landmark again. Dharahara marked the skyline, serving military signals and broad views over the capital. Its collapse brought severe human loss around the site. The new structure does not cover every trace. The old base was stabilized so polished concrete and broken masonry occupy the same ground. Nearby, Rani Pokhara is older. Created in the 17th century under King Pratap Malla, the pond centers on Balgopaleshwar Temple. Both were reconstructed after the earthquake. Historical records and traditional forms guided that work. The restored temple now reflects modern buildings, but the nearby ruin blocks any illusion of complete recovery. The pairing is more honest than a flawless replacement. The new tower records Nepal's rebuilding strength. The preserved base measures what 2015 took away. A lake of intense turquoise remains protected partly because reaching it still takes days on foot. Phoksundo lies in a high basin in Dolpa, inside Nepal's largest national park and its only trans-Himalayan protected area. The water is held not by concrete, but by an ancient landslide dam near Ringmo village. Its outflow then drops through a major waterfall into the steep drainage below. The color is physical, not decorative. Light, viewing angle, and suspended minerals keep changing the turquoise surface. Around it, dry cliffs, sparse scrub, alpine pasture, and snow-covered peaks replace Nepal's dense monsoon forest. Since 2007, Phoksundo has held Ramsar wetland status. Yet the protected basin is also a lived cultural landscape. Chortens, monasteries, Tibetan Buddhist practice, and Bon shape life around it. Distance limits roads, construction, and visitor numbers. It also raises the cost of removing waste, supporting conservation teams, and reaching people when conditions turn harsh. Better access could support livelihoods and fieldwork, but heavier traffic would put more pressure on the basin. At Phoksundo, difficult access burdens conservation work, but those hard days on foot still keep the turquoise basin largely intact. The world's 8th highest mountain rises inside a protected area that still contains farms, trade routes, monasteries, and working villages. The Manaslu Conservation Area covers roughly 1,700 square kilometers, climbing from subtropical valleys along the Budi Gandaki to permanent snow. That vertical rise forces conservation to work across farmland, temperate forest, alpine meadow, and glacier. It cannot protect one band of terrain while ignoring the people and wildlife moving between them. Samagaon remains inside the boundary, with Mani walls, chortens, monasteries, and old trade routes tied to Tibetan Buddhist life. Protection here begins with an inhabited mountain, not an empty reserve. Local conservation committees and user groups help manage forest use, waste, tourism rules, public awareness, and reports of illegal wildlife activity. That work turns residents from a tolerated presence into part of the mountain's protection. Trekking adds another load and another lifeline. Permits and registered guides regulate access, while guides, porters, mule operators, lodge owners, and food suppliers earn from the route. Grazing limits can squeeze households. Snow leopards can take livestock. Large corridors collect waste. Tourism income remains uneven. Manaslu works by negotiating those pressures, proving durable protection keeps communities inside the landscape it defends. I take Nepal's strength to mean something more demanding than endurance. It is the ability to change without treating the past as an obstacle, and to protect nature without pretending people can be removed from it. That balance is never secure. A road can open a valley and strain it. A restored temple can preserve craft or reduce it to display. A protected river can shelter wildlife while shifting costs onto nearby farms. Nepal's next test is not whether it can modernize, but what kind of nation that work will build. If faith, local skill, and conservation remain active forces, adaptation can reinforce the country. If they become decoration, speed will hollow out what progress claims to save. Nepal matters because this pressure now confronts mountain societies across a warming, urbanizing world. Continue with this series as it follows places where inherited knowledge meets new engineering, and where today's choices will shape landscapes, cultures, and national power for generations.